In today's video I'm gonna be going over the top 3 teams to use with Ultra Super Saiyan Rose Goku Black. So let's talk about it. Obviously the first team we're gonna talk about is Future, because when you think of Rose you think Future. So here is the team. The yellow Rose is there just to replace the new Ultra Rose we're gonna get. Personally I think the new Rose is gonna be green, also because you saw in his animation he has blast armor on his strikes. He's probably gonna be melee type. So here is the team I built for him. We have Future Gohan, he's the support unit, you already know what he does. He's pretty much a staple on the Future team, he doesn't seem to wanna die. Maybe if the new Ultra Rose is yellow he can replace him finally, but if not, I think Future Gohan is a great option to have on your team. Then we have Zamasu, the blue one. This guy is a defense type, he actually tanks really well, he disrupts the enemy, he can actually do damage, which is pretty insane. So if you have this guy, definitely use him. Then we have this purple Rose, just in case you need a purple, and his Z ability is pretty good at 6 stars and above. I wouldn't say like he's necessarily gonna be a unit you bring into battle unless you really need him. Vegito Blue, decent ability, still usable in some capacity, but mostly he's there because he can also Zenkai buff the Zamasu, and he has a strike Z ability. As I said, Rose might be melee type, so basically all of these Z abilities except Zamasu and Mai are pretty much strike attacks, and Mai is for the health. Whatever color he is, whatever build he is, you're gonna have Mai on the bench if you own her, because she has a really high health percentage to give to the whole Future team. So that's pretty cool. Obviously, let's look at some other options because you might not have all these units, you know? So let's filter by Future. Maybe you can use Sword of Hope if you have him at higher stars. At 6 stars I'm not saying he's really good, but if you don't have the blue Zamasu, maybe you can use that. Maybe you can use this guy if you have him like again 6 stars or higher. He's pretty decent, he's a melee type. Who else? This Vegeta, he can still do decent damage. And if the new Rose is actually green, you might consider throwing this guy on the team instead of Rose, just to also Zenkai buff the new Ultra Rose. So that could be another option to throw in there. And I know there's also Purple Cell, which I don't own. You can also put him on the bench, I guess, or use him if you need it. But I don't think he's that great anymore unless you have him really high stars and he's unique plat at Z+. I don't know if he's a great option. As I said, I don't own the unit. And that's pretty much it. Like, the other options I see here are mostly blast based. VT is blast based. Who else was it? Doesn't matter. The thing is, you're building a strike oriented team, so you don't really want to throw blast Z abilities and blast units on there, okay? For now, I'm gonna stick with this setup that I initially built. I think this is probably the best option for me. Let's move on to the next team. The second team is going to be Gatki, one of his main tags, and if his ultra ability is for Future or Gatki, you can safely run him not in the leader slot and actually have Ultra Gogeta Blue in the leader slot if you own him. I'm gonna talk about some options if you don't own this guy, but if you own this guy, this might actually be his best setup. Have UGB in the leader slot, have the new Rose, and then you have Zamasu, who's Future and Gatki. You have this Vegeta, who's gonna Zenkai buff that Rose, assuming he's green again, who's Gatki and Future. You have VB, who's Gatki and Future, and he's Zenkai buffing this guy. And then you have this guy who's not Future, but he's Gatki, and he's again giving a lot of like health and some critical, so this is really good as bench for a Gatki setup. Obviously, if you want, you can once again throw mine here. Basically you build the same team as the Future team, but instead of Future Gohan you put Ultra Gogeta Blue and then you put him in the leader slot. But yeah, you get the idea. And if you wanna actually not Zenkai buff this guy and wanna Zenkai buff this guy, you can then throw out VB. And wait, let me sort by Gatki, my bad. Okay, right here. Then you can throw out VB and put this guy. Still strike based Z ability, Zenkai buff for purple Gatki, so this could also work out pretty fine. But again, VB is an option that you can also use in case you need, because he's still pretty decent. This is basically my Gatki setup that I'm gonna be using for him if I pull him, obviously. And then let's say you don't have Ultra Gogeta Blue, then obviously you're probably just gonna throw the new Rose in the leader slot just to make sure everything flows nicely. And then you can either throw this guy on the team have a purple option as well, why not? Another melee type unit that could go on the Godkey team is Beerus. He's not that great, but he can nullify revival, and we have some revival running around right now, so he still has some value, so you can do this. He's also receiving the Zenkai buff from VP in this case. Who else is actually worth using here? Maybe MUI? Let's just say he's Godkey, he can still do some pretty annoying things. His defenses are probably not gonna be so great anymore, especially if you don't have him at high stars. But again, he's an option that you can actually consider. And other than that, I don't think there's anyone that good that you'd actually run in battle. Obviously, if you wanna like start mixing up Blast and Strike, you can use this guy. I wouldn't personally recommend it. As I said, you either keep it Strike or Blast for most optimal damage and the abilities and all that. If you start mixing things up, you're not gonna see good damage from either Strike or Blast. It's just gonna be extremely mediocre for everything, in my opinion. So I definitely wouldn't recommend throwing a Blast unit. You have a few options. Again, this might be your best bet if you don't own the Ultra Gogeta Blue. But if you do own Ultra Gogeta Blue, you wanna put this guy right here, throw this guy out, put Ultra Gogeta Blue, you have a nice setup. Or again, something I might try out and do, not Zenkai buff this guy and Zenkai buff this guy. And yeah, this is my Godkey team, so let's hop into the last and final team. I just realized I said last and final, I wanted to say third and final team, but you get it, it doesn't matter. Here it is. Powerful opponent. EX Hit is there to replace Ultra Hit. Obviously, if you have Ultra Hit, you wanna use him. If you don't have Ultra Hit, I think it's gonna be pretty hard to build out this team. You can still try. Then you have again Zamasu. I know he's on all three teams, but he actually holds Future, Godkey, and Powerful Opponent, all of the tags, and he's a fantastic unit. So if you have him, I definitely recommend running him. Then you have this guy, Cooler. Mostly for the Z ability because he gives 32% to base strike and blast attack, so that's pretty good, and then another 2 to strike arts damage for sagas for the movies. Obviously not everyone is gonna get that, but if you have Rose in the leader slot he also gets that, so it's kinda good for him I guess. Then you have this Broly as a health bench. On all teams I have a health buffer, you always want to try and put a health buffer in there if you can. And other than that, let's sort by powerful opponent and see what other options. Obviously this is a very broad tag, so it has like a lot of units. And some that I don't own, like the Cell and Ultra Broly I don't have. And Ultra Heat, obviously. Personally, I'm not gonna go with this team because I don't have Ultra Heat, so there's no point. But if you do have Ultra Heat and Ultra Rose is a powerhouse, this might be a winning lottery ticket, or just leader slot hit on Future or Godkey, whatever. Those two together might do some damage. But yeah, what else could we use? Maybe someone else to replace Cooler for the Z ability. But I see a lot of the recent units are kind of free to play, and all of them have like a double defense Z abilities, and we don't want that too much. Maybe this one could also be good, but again it's double defense. And you have some special move damage, so it could be nice to have some more special move damage, but again, I don't think you wanna build this Rose defensively. I'm pretty sure he's gonna be hitting like a freaking cannon, so you don't wanna ruin that by building him defensively. Who else can be a good option? Actually, I'm not a huge powerful opponent fan, so I don't know. This guy, I know he's blast based, those guys are defense, this guy is old, and he's blast. This guy, no one talks about him because his plat is not good, so basically nothing happened to him. This guy is range type and he's old. You don't really have too many options that are viable in the meta actually. More like maybe you can find some Zenkai buffers, but that's about it. I think like for powerful opponent, if you don't have Heat, the Blue Zamasu and the new Rose, you basically can't really build the team because those are your best units. Maybe Ultra Broly can be in there and this Rose. But other than that, this team is pretty much wonky, I would say. It doesn't really have like the best synergy or the best units, but still, it's a team to consider. And besides those three teams, obviously you can be in some like wacky stuff, like come up with all kinds of like weird combinations with double support and stuff like that. But those are like legit tags and teams that I'm talking about, not just leader slotting Rose on whatever team you want, because obviously if you use the leader slot, you can put him on Fusion Warriors, which could actually be a really good setup. You can put him on like, I don't know, LOE movies, I don't know, like movies, yeah. You can put him with Pen and Beast Gohan or stuff like that, you know, you can come up with some like really interesting teams. But again, those are his native tags, and I would definitely recommend trying out the future team or the Gatki team. The powerful opponent depends on your stars, obviously, and on your box for every single team. You might not have access to some of the units I have access to, and yeah, that might change the way you build your team. But for me, the winning team kinda looks like Gatki right now, like this setup. If I get the new Rose and if his ultra ability is for future or Gatki, then this team is gonna work out perfectly, I guess. I hope, I don't know, depends on how good he is. But future is also another good option. As I said, this is probably his most native team, and future Gohan is still a pretty good unit. You got Zamasu, who is a good unit, and then you can put some Zenkai buffers and Mai with the huge amounts of health. So yeah, consider this team as well. So now let's quickly go over some of the equips he has access to and talk about what's best for him. Obviously there will be some equips that I probably don't have farmed up, but I'm pretty sure that whatever is like good and optimal I do have in here. Maybe there are like some old equips, awakened equips that I don't have, but here is what I have for him. You can obviously use this one. But for this one is a bit sketchy because you need a Vegeta clan member to make use of the last slot, and if you don't have that, then you probably don't want to use this. And on all of my teams, I don't really have a Vegeta clan that I know I'm bringing in battle, like this guy is just bench, so I'm gonna skip on that equip. But if you're using him with Evolution Vegeta or with Tag Trunks and Vegeta, you definitely want to throw this equip on him. We have defense, blast attack, more defense, and then 15% to pure strike attack, which is really good. Then a second good option is obviously the future pure, double defense and 6% to strike attack for each future battle member. That takes 18% to pure strike attack, so that's a pretty high number. Another option that I might see myself using is this one, double strike. That adds up to like 12% with 15%. That's 27% strike attack and then 10% ult and 10% special move damage. Not the highest percentages, but it's still a pretty good equip to give some more offense to the guy. This one, if you feel like building him a bit more defensively, so you want him to tank, you want him to eat some hits, you can obviously use this one, but that's not gonna give you any type of offense, so be aware of that. Then we have this one, which is blast defense, some blast attack, not the greatest, especially in this meta. And then you have 12.5% to pure strike attack. Obviously, this is when a Gatki is a battle member, so you just need one. He himself is a Gatki battle member, so that's sorted. But again, besides the last slot, is not a great equip. I wouldn't really recommend it, but yeah. This one is also a good one. You can get 13% to strike, then another 20% to strike, that's 33% strike, and then 12% ultimate damage or special move. It's a bit annoying to reroll these ones because you have so many options to get, and you also have to get a red or an orange slot to make this equipment be really good. But if you do have access to one of these, double strike and ultimate or double strike and special move damage, I think is gonna be really good for him. Another equip is this one, which is actually really good, but you have to have certain tags. And again, if you're using a Vegeta clan battle member, you can get access to this. You're gonna get base strike attack up to 15% and pure strike attack up to 10% when future and Vegeta clan is a battle member, and then 15% blast attack and 10% pure blast attack when future and powerful opponent is a battle member. That's himself, so he's gonna get that. But for this one, the middle one, you're gonna have to use a Vegeta from the Future Saga. So that's gonna be like, you basically have to use this Vegeta, you know? So if you don't use this Vegeta, you can't really take advantage of this new plat he has access to. But yeah, again, if you use that Vegeta, throw this equip on him and you're good to go. And what else? I think that's about it that I would actually use for him. Maybe this one. Like, you can get 10% to special move and 10% to ultimate, 12% to base strike attack and 12% to strike defense. That's pure defense when you have 3 Gatki battle members. Obviously you have to be on a full Gatki setup for this, so it's not gonna work on the future setup. And then you have 12% to base blast attack and 12% to pure blast defense, again with the same conditions. This is a more defensive equip, but you still get special move, ultimate, base strike and base blast, so you get some offense and you get a lot of defense. So you wanna use this if you're gonna build him more defensively. I think that's about it for these equips. I don't know if there's any other equip that you can use right now. There's also this one, again, if you wanna build him more defensively. You get some critical, some strike attack, you get some special move damage, and then you get some pure defenses against Saiyan and against Gatki. So overall this adds up to a pretty well-rounded equip, not the highest stats, but if in case you have it and you don't have any other options, this could do pretty good. But again, we're gonna have to see if he's a melee type in the end, you know, he might be a defense type or support type. I don't think they would give blast armor to a defense type or support type, but we're gonna have to wait and see. Okay, so I was just looking through the equipment archive and I found another one that could be a pretty good option. You have this awakened one, which is for Super Saiyan Rose, so only Rose Goku Black can use this. You have base strike attack up to 20%, damage to hybrid Saiyan up to 13%, but right now in the meta you don't see a lot of hybrid Saiyan, so this is not the best right now. And then you get some health and ultimate damage, so the first slot and the last slot are really good. The middle slot is kind of like depends on what's going on in the meta, but again, if you have this and you're missing one equip, might be worth throwing it on, and maybe you're gonna run into some beast Gohans with pen, so then this is gonna actually have full effect. And yeah man, I'm looking through these. I know I'm missing a lot of equips, but some of them are super specific for certain tags. Okay, this could also work defense, key recovery and double attack. Not the greatest, I mean, like, besides the last slot there's nothing great about this one. This one is for God, key range type and defense type. Again, we're gonna assume he's a melee type, so no, we're not using that. This is for movies and powerful opponent. A lot of them have like a double requirement. This is probably something to do with USS, yeah, God key and USS. So yeah, I think that's mostly it. Like, I can look through every single one and see what's good and what's bad, but most probably most of them are not that upgraded, like they're super old equips, some of them, so they're not gonna have the best looking things. Yeah, this is with like negative stats, so I never recommend using those. This one is for God key, pure defense, some strike attack. Yeah, this is not good. So yeah, I think we're gonna stick with those that we talked about so far. Maybe you can even use this if he ends up being purple, which I don't think, because that would be like the third Saiyan purple ultra unit, which is a bit too much. We just need a green unit already. This is double defense and then some health and some special move damage. Special move and health are always good, and both defenses go up to 25%, so that's pretty good. But again, he has to be purple to use that one. And yeah, other than that, as I said, personally I think this is gonna be the best setup that you can use him on, for me at least, since I don't own Ultra Heat. But yeah, this looks like a really good setup. I cannot wait for him to drop and see if he's good or not. And at the same time, hopefully I manage to pull him, because after those summonings, my bad, I plan on actually saving for Annie. So right now the Battle Hour Ultra is gonna be the last thing I plan on spending on, like, heavily. I don't know what's gonna come in between now and Anniversary, maybe I'll spend a bit, but most of my CC are gonna be stacked up for Anniversary. And we all know we're getting Ultra Vegito Blue for Anniversary, so definitely if you want that unit, if you're hyped for that unit, start saving, maybe even skip Rose, or wait until you can see if he's good, if he does anything special, if he helps out your teams, or if he's just hyped, because he might just be hyped and not be good in the end. But yeah, I don't know, this is the best advice I can give you right now, the best teams, the best equips I can think of. And yeah, if you find any value in this video, make sure you give it a like, maybe even subscribe if you wanna like stick around for more content. I really appreciate that. And yeah man, good luck if you're summoning for Rose. I'm gonna see you for the summoning video, because I am summoning, and for the reaction video, for the reveals and stuff and all that good stuff. And yeah, thank you guys for being here. I'm gonna see you in the next one. Peace. Yeah, I see you thought it was over, but then the fusion tango boosted power, roasting opponents. The coldest foes that I'm owning, the key is flowing in ocean. You had the nuts to step through one of us, but now you're facing both with these.